Nelson.
Here.
Cavell.
Here.
Gingell is absent with notice. Kuhn.
Here.
Powell.
Here.
And Lubes is absent with notice. Woodward.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, we have a quorum. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we will move to the approval of minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes of the previous meeting? If not, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the Public Health and Safety Committee meeting of November 30th, 2021 and December 9th of 2021. Motion by McGilvery, seconded by Nelson. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, could you please prompt the vote?
It's not registering yours.
You didn't register mine? You didn't register none of them?
I've got Nelson and Cavell.
Can you just do a roll call, please?
Sure. Sorry about that.
Nope, you're fine.
On the minutes. Hoffman.
Yes.
McGilvray.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Cavell.
Yes.
Kuhn.
Here. Yes. I'm sorry.
Woodward.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Now we'll move to the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes or corrections to the agenda? Yes, Chairman Woodward.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda, but I'm going to ask to remove which item?
Item A.
Item A, and then I'll explain why if there's a second.
Item A under communications, regular agenda.
On a regular agenda. This is the Oxford response, and I'll explain, I'll speak to the motion. To approve the agenda by removing item A.
Okay,
Support.
supported by Hoffman, seconded by McGilvery. Seeing none, we need a motion. Moved by seconded, sorry. Can we do a voice vote? Oh, but
Sure, I just
before,
want to speak to like why. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, this is a very important issue. I mean, as a board, that we had set money aside for the Oxford response. There's, a few things. This one specifically speaks to the prosecutor office needs out of the money that we set aside. There are some economic recovery assistance and some mental health proposals that are kind of coming that need to be part of this overall package. But I've also talked to Chair Lubes, Chair Markham, because of the budget implications, as well as the executive and the prosecutor, and we need a little bit more time to flesh this out to make certain that as we're moving forward, like all these positions required for the Oxford response, there might be other things that are needed, and we want to talk through what those things, those things are. So what I anticipate is that there'll be another meeting prior to the board taken up so that we can advance some of the things that are absolutely essential, addressing the prosecutor's needs, as well as some of these other things before the next board meeting. But this isn't ready yet.
okay, thank you. Is there any other comments? Hearing none, could you prompt the vote? Or roll call, whichever one. Let's try to
Yeah,
vote.
try it again, see what we got here.
So
Okay.
this would be for postponement?
No,
It just takes it off the agenda, but
It is amended.
we're going, in all likelihood, going to have another meeting prior to the board meeting to address this item, and possibly another issue before the board.
Thank you.
Yes.
McGilvray, thank you.
Woodward votes yes. My
Thank
prompt
you.
didn't pop up.
Okay, we have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carried. Now we will move to on to the first public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the committee? Hi, you are given 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Sandra Carlin, and I'm from Novi, Michigan. And first, I'd like to say before I make my comment that I've come to a number of these meetings, and I would like the courtesy of an agenda being provided without me continually having to, somebody's shaking their head.
You can keep talking.
Okay, well, I'd like the courtesy of agendas being provided, maybe on the counter or something, enough for the people who might come to make comments or to look at what's on the agenda. The other thing, my original comment is that the Stafford Act presumes that an emergency can cause loss of income. The U.S. government's use of this act to set forth the emergency declaration violated the first principle of the act. There was not an emergency in the United States, and it has never been established. Worse still, the actions that were taken under the act resulted in the loss of income in Oakland County and other communities across the country, more than the emergency. Stipulating emergency, quote unquote, is a legal error. On January 31st, 2020, Secretary of Health Human Services, Alex Azar, determined that there was a public health emergency as of December 27th, 2020. We're almost 2 years from that now, pursuant to 42 U.S.C. On the 29th of January, he stated, "The risk of infection for Americans remains low." That's a quote. In direct conflict with the timing of his determination 2 days later. In short, during the interregnum, it's obvious that the facts failed to meet the emergency determination, and the backdated action conflicts with the stated evidence. There was not an emergency. As we've been living these last months, I don't see the need for continued use of emergency powers when the emergency is not, is at least up for grabs in the scientific community and the experts. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Oh, thank you.
Good morning. Hope everyone had a good holiday.
Hold on just 1 second. I want to make sure you're allotted your full 3 minutes.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. You can start.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm Melissa Williams from West Bloomfield, and I would like to draw attention to the December 9th Public Health and Safety Committee meeting, during which Charlie Cavell was on Zoom. Committee Chair Nelson, or actually, she's not the committee chair. Commissioner Nelson, you clearly stated while you were officially attending Zoom and due to medical and was indeed in Oakland County. I want to thank you for that. At a minimum of 3 instances during this meeting, Commissioner Gershenson asked why Commissioner Cavell was on Zoom and if he intended to officially attend the meeting and add his vote. Not one person in this room answered her question. Chairperson Woodward was present and also did not require an answer. She was completely ignored. Does her voice matter on this committee or on the board at all? Or was it that she had not been included in the other's agenda for the meeting? Apparently, we needed Commissioner Cavell's vote to advance an agenda. So her question is valid. These are the rules in the commission. A commissioner must provide a signed medical reason and remain local in order to participate on Zoom and add an official vote. So this puts that entire meeting in question, during which I believe there was an acceptance of the September 2nd Commission General Board meeting. So thank you, Commissioner Nelson, for setting an example and making that clear. And thank you, Commissioner Gershenson, for raising the question. You're obviously a woman of integrity and expecting integrity from the other board members. Apparently, after being questioned in the General Board meeting, a subsequent response came from Commissioner Cavell that he did not have to answer the question because of his HIPAA rights. Well, okay, so if we're going to change the rules, which apparently could be very subjective based on the kind of votes that are required during boardroom and committee meetings, well, then we need to take a look at the HIPAA rights of the citizens of this county in regards to mask mandates on children, which are illegal, and on the sheriffs required in this building, and all of the county businesses, including this building, have a sign on the door that says a mask is required to enter this building. That's all clearly in violation of all of our HIPAA rights. So the county signs remain on businesses. If you're not fully vaccinated, you must wear a mask. This also violates our HIPAA rights. So if we're going to change the rules when we need to change them, then we need to change them everywhere. I would like to present a challenge to this committee that any vote during Charlie Cavell, including Charlie Cavell during that time period in December 9th, at the committee meeting, that he did not present a verified and legal medical reason for not being present in the meeting and attending Zoom to add his vote must be void. Thank you for striving to have integrity in this matter.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address our committee today? Seeing none, I will close public comment. We'll now move to communications. We need a motion to receive and file communication items A through F, moved by McGilvery, seconded by, seconded by Coon.
Actually, Madam Chair, I just had a point of order. It looks like they've added G to communications as well. I don't know if you meant to include G as well. It just is on, it's popped up on the latest agenda, which is the double overtime report from the sheriff's office.
Oh, sorry, items A through G.
Okay.
Correction, moved by McGilvery, seconded by Coon. Thank you, Commissioner Coon, for that.
Sure.
Can you please prompt the vote or do a roll call?
What is going on?
McGilvery, yes.
Thank you. Okay, we have 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carried. We have no items on our consent agenda, so we'll move to the regular agenda. The first item on the regular agenda is item B, the Emergency Management and Homeland Security Grant. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The regular agenda item is with the Federal with the Federal Emergency Management Agency for the Hazardous Mitigation Grant Program. I need a motion. Motion by Hoffman, seconded by Cavell. Is there any further discussion on the item?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Coon?
Yes. Mr. Hardesty, you can hear us, I take it?
I can. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, just a brief update. How are things going with regard to our overall funding request from FEMA?
They are moving along, but moving along slowly. We have several $1 million in projects that are in with FEMA. They're moving through the process, both with FEMA and there's actually, they also go through the state as well. Our largest project, which is our PPE, which is I think nearly $4.3 or $4.5 million is in the very final stages. So we're just waiting on a grant agreement from the state for that. So it is moving, but they're dealing with every community nationwide. So it is certainly a slow process.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And I can provide an overview on this project to commissioners when you're ready.
Great, thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Yes.
Madam Chair, if he could do the overview on this one, that would be interesting.
Great, yes.
Yeah, so Commissioners, this is our hazard mitigation. The Oakland County has required our office every 5 years to do a hazard mitigation plan for the entire county. This plan is done in consultation both with the public and with every single CVT in the county, schools, like I said, businesses and the public are invited. We generally use a consultant to assist with this. So this grant request is also through FEMA. The total project would be $180,000, $135,000 in grant money we're seeking from FEMA, and then $45,000, which would be in kind, in time, from our staff to work on this project. So we're seeking approval to apply for this grant to help work on this project. These funds become available actually because in this case through prior disasters. So because of COVID and because of some of the flooding incidents that we had last year, FEMA then in turn makes disaster planning funds available for us.
Okay, is there any other questions from commissioners? Hearing none, can you prompt the vote or roll call?
McGarver, yes.
Thank you.
Woodward, yes.
Did it come up?
Didn't, but I didn't, I need to log back in.
Oh, okay.
I'm yes for now.
Thank you. We have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you,
Motion-
Commissioner.
Thank you, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item C, Sheriff's Office, hold on, wait a minute. Sorry, no. Item C is number 1, to extend the fiscal year 2021 interlock agreement with Oakland Community Health Network, OCHN, for medication-assisted treatment, MAT, and Jail Alliance with support, JAWS programming position at the Oakland County Jail. I need a move by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Cavell. And now I will turn it over to our guest speakers in this matter today.
Good morning, Commissioners, and Happy New Year. So this item, we're asking for a 6-month extension to our OCHN agreement for the Matin JAWS program. MAT is for opioid use disorder treatment, and the JAWS program is for mental health needs. OCHN has experienced a significant change in their top leadership, so they wanted to extend it for 6 months, and then we'll be reaching out and working with them to see if they want any changes to the program or how we're going to move forward. But that was their request to not do our normal year extension because of their changes. So this actually covers 2 full-time positions and 2 part-time positions going forward.
Okay, Commissioners, we have any other questions? Yes, Cavell.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Gaia. Hi, Under Sheriff.
Morning.
How many people work in the jail doing MAT and JAWS? Is it the 2 full-time and 2 part-time?
That's just what's covered under the OCHN agreement, but we have a whole program services team.
How big is it?
That we'll have to get back to you on all the full-timers. Are they there? I think they were going to be a couple of folks in person.
Yes, Jody, if you could step up to the table, you might be able to answer some questions.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jody Berger. I am the Program Services Supervisor at the Oakland County Jail. You're asking the numbers of our staff in our entire Program Services unit, or just the MAT and the JAWS program?
MAT and JAWS.
The MAT and the JAWS program. We have a full-time screener that splits her time between the MAT program and the JAWS program. We have 2 part-time caseworkers in the JAWS program. We have another dedicated full-time caseworker in the JAWS program. I'm just trying to think if I've left anybody out.
Is that in addition, you mentioned 4 people, is that in addition to these 4 that are funded through OCHN?
No, those are the 4 funded through OCHN.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the program is entirely funded through OCHN, if I get it right?
Gaia can talk a little bit more about the funding part of it.
Right, for these specific positions, I mean, we have other, the rest of the program, we have general fund positions in here as well, but just these positions are funded by OCHN.
Okay. So the JAWS and MAT program has general fund positions as well as OCHN funded positions? Or just OCHN funded?
Program Services in general has general fund positions, and they work in coordination, but these ones are the specific JAWS and MAT positions.
Okay. So these are the only ones that work on the medication-assisted treatment and the mental health concern. That's OCHN solo. General fund money from us to you to go in the jail is not included for mental health related staff positions. Is that what I'm hearing? Right, there's other program services departments.
Right.
Okay.
These two particular programs, the Jail Alliance with Support, which is for people with mental health needs,
Yeah.
not everybody with mental health needs is in that program. It's just a very select group to address their mental health needs. Those positions are funded through OCHN,
Okay.
the grant positions, yeah.
Are you finding then, Under Sheriff and, you said Jody?
Jody, uh-huh.
Jody, Under Sheriff and Jody and Gaia, are you finding that the mental health needs in the jail are being met adequately? Or is there a gap with this OCHN program and/or general fund dollars for mental health in the jail?
We're adequately meeting the needs of the mental health in the jail. The program does have some eligibility, and that's why everybody in the jail isn't in the JAWS program.
Sure.
Regarding security level offenses and such. But the JAWS program is definitely meeting the needs of the JAWS participants. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Did that answer that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions for commissioners? Seeing none, can you prompt the vote?
Gilfer, yes.
You have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Item passed. Now we will go to item D, which is with the U.S. Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance for the 2021 DNA Capacity Enrichment and Backlog Reduction CEBR program. And that will presenter for that is Gaia and I'm sorry. Yes, Gaia and Mr. Childs.
Thank you. So this is our annual acceptance of the CBER grant from the Department of Justice.
Oh, wait, sorry. I'm moving too fast. I need a motion.
Oh, sorry.
Hoffman, seconded by McGilvery. Thank you, Hoffman, for the.
No problem.
Now I can turn it over to you. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the annual acceptance for the CBER, the DNA backlog grant, it continues 3 full-time forensic lab analyst positions. So the lab actually saw a 44% increase in casework in 2021. So obviously there are challenges, as the former undersheriff has always said, you build it and they will come, and they're still coming, and so we're working on that caseload. The good news is the third analyst that we added last year is almost fully trained, so that will help with the continued backlog. But they are caught up on violent offender and rape cases at this point, so the majority of the backlog remains property cases. I think that's it. So if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I open the floor to commissioners. Do you have any questions? Hearing none, can you prompt the vote or roll call?
McGilver, yes.
Thank you. You have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, item passed. Now we will move to item E, which is Amendment 1 with the Charter Township of Oxford for the 2022 through 2024 Law Enforcement Service Agreement. Can I get a motion? Motion by McGilvery, second by Jackson. Discussion, open up the discussion. Turn it over to our presenters for this. Same two. Take it away.
So not surprisingly, in light of the recent tragedy, Oxford has requested an additional school resource officer. So that's what this does. It's a contract amendment, and it adds a patrol investigator position, which will perform school resource officer duties.
Okay, do we have any discussion from commissioners? Yes, Cavell.
Just because we had a big conversation at the end of the year about local communities, sheriff's contracts for policing services, Can you help me understand this is money coming out of the county general fund to service the Oxford community, right?
No,
That's
it's
what the request-
Oxford amending their contract with us to pay for another position.
So they will chip in the full cost for this new position.
Yes, so it's not the general fund paying for it. I mean, obviously, we pay the deputy, but it's full reimbursement of all costs that, for the contract rates that you set in December, it's the full cost reimbursement for this position from Oxford.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yes, Chair Woodward.
I just want to add the full cost, that of the billable rate that we approve, not the indirect costs associated with this and all the other contracts.
Got it, okay, thank you.
Thank you for that clarity. Do we have any other questions? Hearing none, could you please prompt the vote?
Gilliver, yes.
Thank you. We have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Item passed. Now we will move to item F, the acceptance of donation from Mission Ochn of 1 therapy canine dog for the therapy canine program. Can I get a motion? Motion by Jackson, seconded by Nelson. Now we'll turn it over to our presenters. Shane.
So obviously, I think you've probably seen it on social media and maybe in the news that we got an additional therapy canine puppy added to the most recent program that you guys approved. And the community has generously donated money and purchased this puppy to donate to the Oxford community. So it'll be assigned to the Oxford substation and, be in the schools and available for the Oxford community.
Nice. Is there any other questions from commissioners? Hearing none, could you prompt the vote, please?
Gilliver, yes.
Thank you. We have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Item passed. Now we will move along to item G, which is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With the Office of Health and Nutrition Services, Michigan Department of Education for the 2021-22 National School Lunch Program. I need a motion. Motion by Hoffman, seconded by Jackson. Turn it over to our speaker, our presenter, Heather. And I'm sorry, can you pronounce your last name?
Sure. Heather Calcaterra. I'm the new manager at Children's Village. Good morning, everybody.
Hi, I'll turn the floor over to you now.
And I'd also like to introduce Lori Strong. She is our contract compliance analyst, and truly a shout out to her. She's the person behind the scenes that does all the hard work on our grants and compliance and all of that. So happy to have her with me today. This is our annual request for funding from on the National School Lunch Program from MDE. We've been applying for this grant and receiving funding from MDE for well over a decade. The amount of this year's grant request is $145,000, and this allows us to receive funding for breakfast, lunch, and after-school snacks.
Okay, do we have any other questions for commissioners? Commissioner Jackson.
Quick question. I just wanted to know why the Mandy's Place residents don't qualify.
The Mandy's Place residents get funding from a different program. It's called the Child and Adult Food Care Program, and we actually apply for assistance there and get about $35,000. So it's just a different funding requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Any other further discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, can you prompt the vote?
Gilliver, yes.
Thank you. We have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Item passed. Now we will move to item H with the Michigan Department, item H. With the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy for the non-community Type 2 Public Waters Program. I need a motion. Motion by Nelson, seconded by Cavell. And now we'll turn it over to the presenter, Leanne Stafford, or staff.
Good morning, everyone. So this grant in front of you is a reimbursement grant. This is an annual reimbursement that we receive each year from Eagle. And this funding covers our programs like our Type 2 water supplies, which are community wells that are operating in businesses, our long-term drinking water that looks at contamination in the county, and we get reimbursed for doing sampling, swimming pool inspections, septic waste, and campground inspections. We are receiving a little less than we did last year, about $31,000. Last year, they gave us more to try to reimburse us for the annual contract and the way that they had awarded it. But this does go up and down sometimes because it's based on the number of systems that we have in the county. So if a campground closes or a Type 2 water supply business goes to city water or county water, municipal water, then that well would come off of our list and we would get paid a little bit less. So that does go up and down a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any other questions for further discussion? Hearing none, can you prompt the vote, please?
McGilvery, yes.
Thank you. Hold on one second. It looks like this.
Or you can roll call.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to roll call this one because it got stuck on the wrong item.
Okay.
Hoffman,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Cavell,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
You have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Item passed. Next item we'll move to is item I, to the fiscal year 2022 Local Health Department Comprehensive Agreement for Staffing Modifications. And our presenter will be Leanne Stafford, but before that, I need a motion. Motion by Cavell, seconded by Hoffman. And now I turn it back over to Leanne Stafford.
So this request in front of you is just a staffing change. And so as the complexity of our nutrition referrals continue to be added, so like we had 81 new referrals added in November, the need for us to bring in a public health nutritionist 3 versus a 2 has become more and more important. And so currently we have, I think it was 3, what we call them RD, registered dietitians, that are considered public health nutritionist 3, and then we had 1 that was a public health nutritionist 2. Because the position is only a 2, she's only able to take certain complex referrals in. And so what we're looking to do is upgrade her to her position to a public health nutritionist 3, so she can take on those complex cases. And then also be able, this will be budget neutral. We're not looking to, really change any funding around. We're just looking, the grant will cover this change in cost.
Thank you.
An upgrade to the position.
Thank you for that report. Commissioners, do we have any questions or further discussion? All right, hearing none, can you prompt the vote? Thank you, Jesus.
McGilvray,
Yes.
we have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Great, item has
Thank you.
passed. Thank you. Now we will move on to our second public comment. Is there anyone from, oh, yes, I'm sorry. Chair Woodward?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to just make sure that everyone brought their attention to one of the communication items that was adopted. This is the report, this is, it's the, what's it titled? Double OT report through the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. I think when this body needs to convene again, we approved at our last meeting to extend the double overtime through the end of January. That is set to expire unless this board takes additional action. This is the analysis of, it was brought in initially because of some unfilled positions that the sheriff office was dealing with. There is a COVID impact that we've got a lot of officers out. But my general, and you look at it, in terms of the average, it seems that on the high level, there's like 22, an average, 22 additional forced overtimes before we put in the post overtime. On average is +4. There obviously is a cost component for doing this, as well as other 24 operations that if we were to move forward, like Children's Village that we were talking about, if we were to move forward to establish some sort of policy going forward. But at minimum, this expires at the end of this, we only adopted through the end of January. So this committee and this board needs to either take action or the double overtime amount will phase out. So I'm putting that in people's notes, so look at the report, and it'll probably be part of the conversation of the next Public Health and Safety Committee.
Thank you for that. Now we'll get back to the second public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to address the committee?
Melissa Williams from West Bloomfield. I have a question about agenda item 9B in regards to the FEMA grant, and I would like someone to follow up with my question either by phone or email, and I can leave that information. This is really important. I would like to know, Thomas Hardesty reported that there was a consultant that was hired for this grant, and I would like to know what kind of consultant was hired for this grant. I would like to know if when we're spending $4.5 million in taxpayer money, if a consultant was hired that was actually a court-appointed, legally recognized, and certified OSHA industrial hygienist, at least industrial, if not military hygienist. This is a lot of money to spend for taxpayer money if you aren't hiring the right consultants. And so I would like the definition, I would like their name, I would like their credentials. And this is key because this is the hierarchy of controls with OSHA and PPE, and without this, you risk the health and safety of the public. You also mistreat and use the incorrect protocols, and you waste $4.5 million. So this is really critical that we know what kind of consultants are being hired for this. I wish Leanne Stafford was actually present for this comment because I would like to know if the county's ever hired a court-appointed and legally recognized certified industrial or military hygienist for some of the decisions we're making with our money. This is a lot of money. I would like a list of what that $4.5 million in PPE actually includes. Like, I want an itemized list presented to the public and at least posted online. And I would like to have a follow-through with this question. I would also like to follow through on I was at the Pandemic Ad Hoc Committee, and I brought this up with the HVAC systems. Has anyone followed through on my request to consult with the American Frontline Doctors for early treatments that are successful with COVID? This is important for our community. I want to know if there was any follow-up on the consultant of an industrial or military hygienist on the kind of PPE that we're using for the county and the protocols we're using. And I want to know if anyone did any homework on the HVAC systems that are successful in keeping aerosol viruses in check in the school systems. So I would like follow-through and follow-up with that, with either by phone or by email, and I'll leave my information maybe with Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Follow-up for you. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to address us? You got all that?
I'm good.
Okay, you got it. Okay, thank you.
Sandra Carlan from Novi. Just on that last item, the agreement for the staffing modification, I would be interested to, and I can leave my contact information from Leanne Stafford, about if I may have misunderstood her, but what she said was that they needed a 3 versus a 2, and that they were planning on upgrading the same individual in her position to take on the complex cases. So I just want to know, are we hiring someone who has the higher upgraded qualifications, or are we just upgrading and giving a raise to the person who's there and making a 2 a 3? So that's something that I'm interested in knowing, because of the fact that this local health department staffing and regulations, recommendations that are coming for our entire county from this organization, I'd really like a clarification on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff has taken the proper information from our two guests who spoke to us today. Do we have any further discussion from the commissioners? If not, without objection, I declare this meeting over at 11:41.
Good job.